Hey guys, how are you?
Great. How are you?
Doing great. So to start, Brandon, first of all, love that your name for a lot of these moments is just loafers in this show. Uh, but for you, when you get to kind of play the not love interest that we meet within that first episode, what is the fun of getting to be have that dynamic right out the gate with Sadie's character or Sadie as a character?
Oh, it's so much fun. I mean, that is their complex and tumultuous relationship and history is what really drew me to the character. I think it's awesome writing. And I keep saying there's something exciting about playing the fantasy of someone who's been burned by their ex and driven by their ex in that moment, and then being able to show up on that stage and say, "Hey, well, look at me now. Look at me now. Look at where I am." So there's just so much deliciousness and conflict that to be had in their whole will they won't they cat and mouse chase throughout the whole series.
Yeah, and Griffin, you get to play for once a nice guy editor who is just like he's like, oh yeah, I'll give you a chance. And then even when it's still not what he wanted, he's still very nice about it. Um, we don't often get to see that in movies and TV. Normally, the editors are always kind of the hard asses. So what was
Mhm.
the fun of getting to like be nice in a role like that versus the alternative?
Yeah, I mean, I never really thought of myself as like the nice editor. I kind of saw myself as very invested in Melissa's character and in her stories and invested in the trust of the reader and not losing the trust of the reader. So I was able to exhibit, some genuine love and heartfelt feelings for Melissa's character who I was mentoring, but also I had a bit of tough love about her as well when she did let me down. So I it was kind of I was working from more of a paternal point of view when I was dealing with her, and she also happens to be around the same age as my actual daughter, so I had a lot to work with.
And so I have a question for both of you because one of my favorite things about this show is that she is like she sees Hunter S. Thompson and is like inspired by Hunter S. Thompson. So for you guys, who is that one person that you would be like, yeah, I see them when I'm doing something or when I'm in the middle of my work, that's who I kind of want to channel.
Go, baby.
Okay, yeah. In terms of in terms of I don't know if there's anyone in terms of in my work, but I would say that I used to do a lot of martial arts and I would talk to Bruce Lee. He was my guy. And
Love that.
but now I'd say just in life, I have some really strong ancestors that I, look to for guidance, and they'd probably be my Hunter S. Thompson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have in my finer moments, I would definitely say, my parents have passed, and my aunt and uncle were journalists, and my dad was a journalist. I often think of them, uh, you know, kind of, proud of me at certain, in points of certain achievement, and in my lower moments, when I have achieved something, I have a person in mind. I'll remain nameless. It won't mean anything to anyway. Who just wished me just had absolutely no faith in me and was very very hurtful, who just made a huge impression on my esteem at the time, and I often imagine in moments of triumph him just kicking himself in the ass.
As a Scorpio, I respect that. That is how I function in society. So I love that. But to go back, Brandon, what I love the back and forth that you and Melissa get to do. Like I love there's just like this fun back and forth. When you guys kind of have that rhythm with each other, is there any preparation that you guys do together, or is that just kind of built into the script when you're preparing?
I think a lot of that is built into the script. It's really the pacing and the a wonderful just writing is on the page. Just I think it comes to life when you put two people in those roles. But also, I think particularly Melissa's such a playful person, and I love bringing out my playful child to set, and so I just think it was just natural for us for that to come across because that's just kind of who we are.
Yeah, and Griffin, how do you feel about almost being this show's man in the chair? Because we keep cutting back to you and you're back in the office. Like, yeah, this one works, or like editing, like it's you in an office. So in a way, you are Sadie's man in the chair. Do you wish you got to be like on the bus and like
Well,
do those
heavy
things?
is the head that wears the crown. I mean, it was kind of a lonely gig for me because I really wanted to get on that goddamn bus. I wanted to work with these actors. And they had so much, clearly so much fun working together. Um, that I would sometimes, sort of wish they had a reason to put Bruce, who I play, on the bus. But I was well aware that I was, sort of the elder statesman who's seen it all, has seen all the changes in journalism and the constantly changing, perspectives and in from different newspapers and the threat of that journalism is under in terms of having trust with the readers, particularly at the paper that I work for. So, I just I don't know. I'm just sort of embraced my station in life as that kind of guy.
I love it. Thank you guys so much for talking with me today. I really appreciate it. And I can't wait for people to get see the show. I think it's a lot of fun.